Please video like and subscribe this channel. The first time I saw her daughter, I had no idea what I was stepping into. I had been sent to the planet Erindor 5 as part of a routine diplomatic mission, simple negotiations, trade agreements, and ceremonial greetings with the ruling family. What I didn't expect was to be caught in the orbit of a power that had nothing to do with politics, wealth, or diplomacy, the will of a young alien woman who held the fate of worlds in her hands. The planet's capital gleamed beneath the twin suns, a crystalline city of spires and domes that reflected the strange violet light of the northern star. Hovercrafts and gliders hummed through the streets like mechanical swarms of butterflies. And at the center of it all was the royal palace of the Tirathai, a species known for their psychic abilities, their mastery of energy manipulation, and their strict adherence to custom. I was ushered into the palace, introduced to the queen, Solara Tirathai, and led through corridors of polished crystal that seemed alive, reflecting not just light but emotion, memory, and expectation. Queen Solara was imposing, regal, and undeniably beautiful. Her presence alone could silence an entire hall, yet her eyes flicked to me with the sharp curiosity of someone calculating risk and opportunity in equal measure. "You have come on a diplomatic mission," she said, her voice echoing faintly, amplified by the crystal walls. "Yet the outcome of your mission is not solely in my hands." I tilted my head. "I beg your pardon?" Her lips curved into a faint smile. "My daughter, Lyra, will decide. She is 18 cycles old. The age of choosing. And she has the power to accept or reject any alliance, any bond, and any suitor not merely by law, but by the resonance of energy she feels in those around her. You will meet her soon enough." The words hung in my mind like an anchor. Power to choose. In her culture, choice was sacred, bound to energy and emotion, to intuition and resonance, not politics or obligation. And she had the ability to sense everything in a being: loyalty, courage, truth, and even fear. When I was finally led into the chamber where Lyra awaited, I understood immediately why her mother spoke with such reverence. Lyra stood at the center of a circular room, energy fields shimmering around her like invisible threads. Her hair, a luminous silver, floated slightly as if suspended in microgravity. Her eyes, violet and incandescent, studied me with a calm intensity that made my stomach tighten. "You are the human they sent," she said softly. "No introduction, no ceremony, just observation." Her voice was melodic, yet resonant in a way that seemed to pierce thought. "I am," I replied carefully, bowing in respect. "I come seeking mutual understanding and cooperation." Lyra tilted her head. "Understanding is not always enough. You must show me why I should choose you." The room went still, my every move reflected in the crystal walls. Queen Solara stood silently behind her daughter, an unspoken witness to the ritual. I realized then that this was not a test of diplomacy, it was a test of character, presence, and essence. My reputation, my words, my credentials, all of it meant nothing here. Only who I truly was mattered. Over the next several days, I remained in the palace, undergoing subtle trials and exercises Lyra devised. At first, they seemed innocent, sharing meals, observing the city, navigating conversations with palace staff. But soon, the tests deepened. Lyra had a way of reading people, gauging honesty, patience, compassion, and courage. She challenged me with moral dilemmas, forcing me to reveal instinctively who I was. She observed my reactions to injustice in the city, to suffering among the people, and to ethical challenges that required action rather than words. One evening, after a long day of observing markets and the lives of ordinary citizens, Lyra approached me. The twin moons cast a soft lavender glow across the terrace. "Why do you help them?" she asked. "No one sent you to the markets. You could have remained in your quarters, observing, safe." I considered my answer carefully. "Because it matters. Because people deserve more than safety for some and neglect for others. And because I believe leadership is not about rules or hierarchy, it is about service. Her eyes narrowed slightly, as if testing my sincerity. Then a faint smile touched her lips. Few humans speak with such clarity. Most are clouded by ambition or fear. In the days that followed, we spent hours together, walking through the city, attending council meetings, and occasionally sharing private moments in the palace gardens. Lyra's ability to sense intent, energy, and emotion was astounding. She noticed everything, not just the actions of people, but the subtle currents of truth and deception that flowed beneath the surface. And gradually, I realized that I was no longer just under observation. We began to converse freely, sharing stories of our lives, our worlds, our hopes, and our fears. I told her of Earth, of its diversity, its beauty, and its flaws. She told me of her people, of their strengths, their traditions, and the weight of responsibility she carried. One night, as the stars shimmered in the Erindor sky, Lyra and I sat in silence on a balcony overlooking the city. I could feel the faint hum of her energy as it intertwined with the night, sensing patterns, emotions, and resonance. You know, she said finally, her voice barely above a whisper, I can choose anyone. Anyone who meets the criteria. But criteria alone, it is not enough. I looked at her, intrigued. What is enough? Her violet eyes met mine directly. Connection. Courage. Willingness to see beyond the self. And the ability to embrace uncertainty. To trust in me, and to allow me to trust in you. I swallowed, my pulse quickening. I understand. Lyra smiled faintly, a gesture that made the air around us feel lighter, charged, yet tender. Then you understand what it means to be chosen. The final test came without ceremony. It was a simple walk through the palace gardens, past the fountains that glimmered under bioluminescent flora. No guards, no court, no witnesses, only the two of us, and the gentle hum of energy that seemed to emanate from her very being. You may leave, she said suddenly. The choice is yours. You can continue your mission, report back to your people, and never return. I paused, heart pounding. And if I stay? Then I choose you, she said simply. Not because it is expected, not because of duty, but because my resonance finds truth, courage, and compassion in you. I see your essence, human, and it aligns with mine. I choose you. I felt a wave of relief, gratitude, and something deeper, an honor beyond words. Then I stay, I said, voice steady. And I accept your choice, as you have accepted mine. When we returned to the palace, Queen Solara watched us from her chamber balcony. There was pride in her expression, tempered with the understanding that the future of her daughter and perhaps the future of alliances across galaxies had shifted in a single moment. Lyra turned to me, her hand brushing lightly against mine. Her choice is mine, she whispered, referring to the Queen. But my choice is also yours. In the weeks that followed, we navigated not just diplomatic negotiations but the growing connection between our worlds. Lyra's power to choose had not been a mere formality, it was a responsibility, a gift, and a declaration. And she had chosen me. The citizens of Erindor 5 slowly came to understand the significance of this choice. A human had been accepted not because of politics or strategy, but because of integrity, courage, and the resonance of truth. It was unprecedented, yet it inspired hope across the planet. Leaders and ordinary citizens alike began to see that connections between beings built on respect and understanding were as vital as any alliance forged on contracts and treaties. As the twin moons rose once more over the city, Lyra and I stood together on the palace balcony. She looked out over the city she would one day rule, but she also looked at me, the human she had chosen not because of duty, expectation, or obligation, but because she had sensed the alignment of purpose and spirit. Her daughter had the power to choose, she said softly, her violet eyes reflecting starlight, and she chose me. And in that moment, I realized that across the stars, in a galaxy of endless possibilities and endless choice, the rarest gift was trust, and the most profound power was the courage to choose freely and to love freely in return. We had survived tests, rituals, and expectations. And through it all, she had made her choice. And I, with humility and determination, had accepted it. Among the stars, in the halls of an alien empire, a human and a princess stood together, not bound by duty alone, but by choice, connection, and the infinite possibilities of what lay ahead.